Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
I ask that both parties only speak to me. I ask that neither of you address each other, please. I want to keep this as amicable as possible. We're not trying to have a contentious situation. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this and hopefully reach a resolution that makes both parties happy, which I hope will happen. That's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions in regards to this process? No? Okay, great. So, Mr. Soloria, and Miss McCausland, I just ask that you just mute yourselves during the duration of Miss Kennedy's testimony. And then when I call you, I will ask for you guys to unmute and then Miss Kennedy to mute on her side.
Okay.
All right, so Miss Kennedy, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
I do.
Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Tariana Kennedy, Kennedy.
All right, please begin with your testimony.
Okay, so my evidence, I will admit it is a lot of overkill. I wanted to make sure I had all of the evidence. All we really need to look at are, where is it? Here it is. Pages 1 to 14 and 24. In September, my ex-boyfriend, which was their roommate at the time, got arrested. He got arrested for being a pedophile, so we then moved him out and kicked him out. So that was the end of that. But because of that, I then had to pay the rent. And so the first time I did pay rent, which is on page 2, is going to be October 4th, 2024. That was when I had to pay the full majority of rent. That is my bank statement right there. I pulled that out at Walmart. I can try to get the money order if you want that. But that was the first initial time I did pay full rent. They couldn't pay their portion, so I had to fill in. Page 2 or page 1, that's when I paid for Alex's books. She couldn't afford it, so I said I could go ahead and spot her for that since it was education. I thought that was important. For page 14, that's going to be the bank statement. I paid for rent on November 7th, 2024. I paid $800. They asked for a little more. I couldn't afford it, so I just told them 800. So page 14 through 16 is the Cash App statement showing that I sent them the money. On page 24, that is honestly the main one we need to be looking at. Alex asked me how much they owed me in total. I summarized it and I wrote it down. She said it was around 900. I did not agree with that. So I summarized all the times I paid for the majority of rent, as well as Alex's college books. I then went through and summarized it to 1,893 and 84 cents, or $1,893.84, not including any of the rent that was my portion or any of the PUD. So she then responded okay, basically agreeing to the statement. And then on page 25, I asked for a update on January 7th just to see where they were at for paying me back, because I would consistently check in with them after moving out. And they said by early March they'd aim to start paying me back, and I have not gotten any payments with any of that. So in total, including the PUD, they would owe me $2,014.84.
All right, in regards to the PUD, why are you asking for the full amount? Is that not a portion that you would need to pay a little bit of as well?
That is a that I would pay, yes. She did say she would pay half of it, but I have not gotten that as well. I'm okay with half if they're willing to pay half, but I do need at least some reimbursement for that.
So why are you asking for the full amount then? The
I
121?
just put it in there to show that I paid fully.
Okay,
And then,
so you're asking for in regards to the PUD, you would just want half of that, correct?
yeah, at least
because-
half, yeah, because in one of these messages, she said she would pay me at least half by the 15th, which was when she was supposed to get her paycheck. Let me see where it was. And she said she would at least pay half of that for me. So that's fine. I just haven't gotten any payments whatsoever.
How much was the total rent for the apartment you were renting? Is it an apartment or a house?
Apartment.
Okay, so how much
It
was the
was
rent each month for the apartment?
$1,332, $1,332.
I understand that. And that was split 2 ways or 3 ways?
It was supposed to be split 3 ways. Majority of the time it was just Alex and I. So it was split 2 ways.
Okay, so your rent, you were 666 each month, correct? That was your portion, 666, not inclusive of any utilities or items.
Yeah, that's what it was
correct?
supposed to be.
Okay. All right.
Well, initially it was supposed to be $444, but since somebody couldn't pay like their portion, that's why I went to 666.
Okay, so it's supposed to be split 3 ways. It was a 3-bedroom
Yes.
apartment.
Yes.
Mr. Solorio couldn't pay his portion, so Miss McCausland was paying for it, and then essentially your rent just bumped up to pay half. Why?
That is correct.
Why did you start paying half? Why didn't you continue paying a third and then Miss McCausland would have to pay the other 2/3?
Because they couldn't afford it, and that was the only place I had at the time, so I had to either pay or be homeless.
Okay. In regards to the college books, that was for who? For whom?
Alex.
Okay, so Miss McCausland. And to clarify, you have gotten nothing back from the 2014 and 84 cents you're requesting.
Nothing.
Okay. Okay, so did you have a chance to pick up the exhibits that it looks like this is written by Mr. Solorio. Did you pick up those exhibits?
I did.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to refer to the very first page.
Okay.
And we're going to go through the addressing claims so that we can just have you take care of that on the front end. 9/4/24, $919 is what you're requesting for the September rent. 9/4 was before I knew she had moved in with roommate. So, what do you have to say to that?
That is my fault. I meant to write 10. I didn't have any whiteout at the courthouse, so I do apologize for that, but that is what I put a bank statement in there.
Okay, so that's supposed to be the 919 is actually for that's for October's rent.
October 4th. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, 919, that's October rent. And that was, you paid the full, it looks like you paid paid full $1,332. So then you were requesting, why are you requesting 919 at that point instead of just half of it?
Because that was both their portions, and I didn't want to take more than, I just wanted what was owed to me.
Okay, so did you just do, okay, but so you paid the full rent in October of $1,332.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you take that amount and you divide it by 3, that's $444 a person, which is originally what you would have asked for. And then you add that times 2, that's $888 So where are you getting the 919 from, please?
The 919, I subtracted the 132 from 444, and that's what popped up for me. I didn't do the math in my head, so that could be my calculator's fault, but
So if you do 1,332 minus 444, that equals
Mhm.
888 that they owe you, not 919. Okay.
okay.
Okay, so that would be for October rent. Then we have the next issue of 9/18/24, 331.84 for books. We agree that we owe her for the books. Okay, so that's not contested. 10/27/24, 121, it should be 121, not 122 for PUD. We don't owe her the full amount. She was living there as well. Okay, we discussed that. It should be split in half. 11/7/24, 254 for rent. So let me look at the 11. So you said it's 1, 2, 14, and 24. So let's go ahead and look at 14. 14 on 11/7. So this is November 7th. This is November rent. You paid $800, correct?
That is correct.
And you should have been paying 666, which is split in half at that point, correct?
It should have still been 444 because it was
Okay.
supposed to be split up the 3 ways the entire time.
Okay, the entire time. Okay, so 800 minus 444. So that's $356,
Mhm.
correct?
That is
And
correct.
on your claim, you only have 254. Where did we get that amount from?
Let's see.
Confused while these numbers are not adding up to what it should be.
Mhm. I did do the evidence after I did file, so that could be it. Because I did the timeline after.
You didn't use a calculator to do any of this?
No, I had to hurry up and go because the courthouse was about to close.
Okay. So November rent, you paid 800. If what you should have been paying is $444, which is a third of
Mhm.
the rent, that means that what you're asking for reimbursement is actually $356, not $254. So you're asking for more in reimbursement that week. And then
Yes.
the last 12/7/24, $389. So this is now we're on December rent.
Mhm.
You asked for $389 back, and their response is 12/7. She had already moved out at this point.
Yes, that
Okay.
is correct. I looked through my timeline and I was moved out then. So that is
Okay.
correct. I do
Okay.
agree.
So where is the amount that you paid for December rent?
I agree that I was moved out. I didn't pay for the 7th. I looked through my timeline.
So where did you get $389 from?
That was probably from the month before. I was honestly just in a rush trying to get this done because it was about to close. It was like 4:25 when I got to the courthouse.
Did you pay some rent for the month of December?
No, I don't believe I did.
Okay, so you're not supposed to get any. So that 389 for December is wrong. You don't even
That
need,
is wrong.
that's not, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Solorio, Miss McCausland, I'm going to add up the correct amount that she's requesting right now, okay? So you're aware, and I'm going to walk you through it, and then I'm going to let you tell me your side of the story, but at least now we'll have the right numbers, okay? So October rent, she originally asked for $919. The correct amount was $888 because 444 is hers, 888 is your two halves. November rent, she originally asked for $254. The correct amount she should be asking for is $356 because she paid $800 that month minus $444, which is her share. means that 356 is what she should have requested, not 254. In regards to the December rent, the $389, that was incorrect. She shouldn't even have asked for that, so that number is completely removed. In regards to the PUD, which is $121, if you split that, I guess actually that shouldn't be split in half. It should be split in thirds, because she should pay a third and you two should be paying the remainder of the 2/3. So actually, if we take 121, divide it by that times 2, the amount she should be asking is just $80.67 is what she should be asking, not $121. So the correct amount is $888 for October rent, $356 for November rent, nothing for December rent, and $80.67 for the PUD. Her total is 1,324. Oh, I'm sorry. There's still the books, correct? So now there's the college books that need to be added of, let me make sure that this number adds up correctly. 331.84. The correct total is $1,656.51. That is the correct total, not the $2,014.84. Are you in agreement, Ms. Kennedy?
I do agree, but I do have a question.
Well, this is your testimony. Feel free to talk. It's still your turn.
Are they going to have to reimburse me for the filing fee and sheriff's fee as well?
If a judgment is awarded in your favor, yes, you would receive compensation for the filing fee, the $35 filing fee, and an award for any service fee that you may have incurred to serve them with this paperwork, okay? That's just the principal value. That's how much the big main value you're seeking, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any additional information? Do you have any witnesses that you wish to call on your behalf?
No witnesses.
Okay. At this point then, and I would like to just state that you will be able to speak after Mr. Solorio and Ms. McCausland speak. You'll be able to add anything additional briefly after the fact if need be. But at this point, I would just ask that you please mute yourself and just listen to what they have to say. So to the defendants in this matter, who would like to testify first? All right, so Mr. Solorio, I would ask you to unmute, please. All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
Yes.
Can you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Thane Allen Solorio, Solorio.
All right, thank you, sir. Please begin with your testimony.
Hello. We agree that we do owe her money. The issue is that the numbers have fluctuated a lot in text messages. We do not agree that we owe her the full amount. When the whole situation happened, we kind of all got thrown together. I was uninformed that my previous roommate had moved her stuff into one of the other rooms. So when he got arrested and we moved him out, me and Alex were staying in one room and they had the other two. During her stay here, she had 2 out of the 3 rooms. And she knew coming in that Alex did not have a job, so it would be split between me and her. We agreed on half rent, half bills, because she said that she had no issues helping pay. Originally, when she offered to buy Alex's books, she did it it was within the first week of everything happening, and she said, "Don't worry, girl, I got you," and said that it was like she had no issue helping out, and that it wasn't that we didn't need to pay her back. As more and more money was needed from her, we did say, "Don't worry, we will try to pay you back. Like, we are trying." We just also have not caught a break since, because she also said she was going to stay till February. She did not end up staying that long. Fair enough. But we also didn't have her on the lease at all. Me and Alex are on the lease. She was never on the lease. I didn't even know she had moved in fully from the room, my other roommate. So it was very hectic. We said that we would definitely try to pay her back. We have just paid our bills since then. I was out of a job for 8 months. That's why a lot of it fell onto Alex during that time. Alex is now out of a job. We had both, like, we've just hit every bump in the road, and we have not been able to honestly pay her back when we're trying to just keep the apartment, pay everything else. And we have explained that in our messages to her. We do finally have some money now, but we have not had contact with her since we were served. Because we don't mind paying her back. We just wanted to make sure that the court said a certain number, and we agreed to it because it did change probably 3 times throughout messages with her. We also received damages to the apartment from her while she was here in those 2 months. She had gotten drunk one night, left the oven on, and there was bread in there, and I had come home late from my shift, walked into the kitchen, and half the kitchen was melted. We lost appliances, different things, spices. She had just left it on for, I want to say, about 6 hours, even more. Unsure there. And then she had also ended up putting a whole roll of toilet paper into the toilet here and clogged it, and now it does not always flush, and there's damages there. And then I just wanted again to point out that she did say she'd stay till February, and she ended up moving out in November, which ended up messing with our finances even more.
Okay. Do you have anything additional, Solorio?
It was just addressing the claims. I was very confused by those. And that I believe that is it. We do, yeah, I already said that we thought it was half paid, half rent, and we were splitting bills 50-50 because she did have 2 out of the 3 rooms. One was more for storage, but it was still mostly her stuff. And that would be all for me.
Okay. I'm gonna allow Miss McCausland to speak. I'm just gonna quickly interject. Miss Kennedy, can you please unmute?
Yes,
Is it correct that you had 2 of the 3 rooms?
that is not correct. One was a storage room for both of us, and the other one was the room that I was staying with Logan.
I do remember
I
during
want-
your okay. I do remember during your testimony you said, at one point we were splitting half and half because Miss McCausland was paying for Mr. Solorio because he was unable to pay his portion. Was it your understanding that you switched from paying 444 to 666, or how did that work? Because I do remember you saying I thought I was paying half, or what is going on at this point?
So for me, I was told it was going to be split 3 ways, but then when I was told even though Alex did not have a job, we would split it 3 ways. She said she'd be getting a job within the next couple of weeks, and then she'd be able to continue to pay. So from the start, it was always 3, split up in 3.
And at no point did you believe that changed?
No.
Okay. All right. And can you just state why there was no written agreement that you would stay until February? This was just something you maybe told them orally?
We didn't have a written statement because I planned on moving to New Mexico to live with my sisters. So it was mostly a month-to-month situation. I did say I might stay until January, February, but it got to be too much of I couldn't afford it. So I had to move. I had to move out.
Okay. And then in regards to the damages, what do you have to say about that?
I would like to see some evidence of that. If there was damages, I would like to see it. Other than that, there's not much to say. I will admit I did get drunk one night. I asked Mr. Solorio or Thane to get me a bottle. I couldn't do it myself, so I got pretty blacked out that night, and I don't remember any damages to the kitchen. I remember there was my really burnt garlic bread, but other than that, there wasn't any damages.
Okay, all right. Thank you. If you could please mute yourself again. Ms. McCausland, I'm assuming you would like to testify?
Sure.
I know,
was-
I mean, it's not a sure, it's if you want to. I'm
Yeah.
not forcing you.
Yeah, I'll testify.
Wait 1 second, please. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth during this proceeding?
Yes.
Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Alexandra Kaya McCausland. My last name is MCCOSTLIN.
All right, please begin with your testimony.
From the beginning, it was never supposed to be in thirds. It was always half rent because I wasn't even moved in until October after the roommate situation. And I didn't have a job. I was looking for a job at the time. So we told her straight off the bat that it was going to be half and half. The damages to the kitchen where the toaster was next to it and the edge of the toaster melted. And the bathroom is still currently messed up now that we have a new roommate living here. Her toilet doesn't flush half the time and it clogs up and tries to overflow. And that's caused from her shoving an entire roll down the toilet. I do agree that I owe her for the college books, even though she did not say they were a loan at first. She said they were like a gift. But the more it went on, it got confusing. So I agree to pay her back for that. I just don't think that we should be paying $2,000. The numbers have switched up too much.
Well, I already came up with the new number that seems to be straightforward, so.
Yeah.
So I have that. Okay. Did you have a chance to bring up to pick up Miss Kennedy's exhibits from the courthouse?
We did.
I want to refer you to page 3. It's text messages.
Okay.
Tell me when you're on page 3.
We're on page 3.
So it's a message between you and Miss Kennedy. On the bottom, it says, so I need to talk to you about rent because I got my paycheck, which was only $800. It leaves me with only $100 to give you for rent. I'm only reading the highlighted portions at this point, so that way we just sort of skip all the unnecessary language. But then on the bottom, it says, for December, it should be $400 a piece again. If you are stating to me that it is half and half, your text message here states that it should be going back to $400 a piece, which means that you're splitting in thirds. That directly contradicts your statement of splitting half and half.
The way that I saw it in my brain was we're half, just because we're together, and she was going to pay the other half.
That's not what your wording says, okay?
I can see how it can be contradicting.
Well, it's just not contradicting. It's just not what you are stating. So, because half of 1,332 is not 400 a piece again.
Mhm.
So, that statement is a little contradictory to you, assuming that you'd be paying just 400 a piece. And December is sort of off the table anyway, just because she ended up moving out. But still, you're saying in December it should be back to 400 a piece again, which I think that you can extrapolate that that's how much it should have been prior to the months as well. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to testify about?
No.
I guess I'll ask, have you submitted any pictures of the damage to the kitchen?
No.
Okay.
We got rid of the toaster and bought a new one months ago.
The only thing I had added was the text message at the very end, just to show that it was during September that situation happened.
I don't think we're denying that situation. It seems like Miss Kennedy was upfront about the situation. What I don't understand is if that occurred in September, why didn't you have her buy you a new toaster while the time she was there up until the end of November? Or
because she was constantly complaining about picking up groceries and other things, even though she was acting like she was super helpful at the same time. She was just being very passive aggressive about everything. So we didn't want to ask her.
She was being helpful. She covered your portions of rent in October and in November. Is that not helpful?
That is helpful.
Okay. All right. Okay, does anyone have anything additional? Miss Kennedy, do you have anything additional to add?
I do not know.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and impart my judgment on this matter. So I guess the question I will just ask before I impart my judgment, Miss Kennedy, did you ever state to them that you were going to, or I guess to Miss McCausland, that you were going to just pay for her books for free?
At first, that's how it was, but she said she didn't want that. She said that she wanted to pay me back because it was so much. She said that's who she was as a person. So I initially thought that I was getting paid back.
So no, you initially thought that it was a gift towards her, but then based on her statement, you just wanted the payment back.
Yeah, because she said
And-
she was going to pay me back.
And you're still seeking that amount, correct? You're not changing
That
your
is correct.
mind. Oh, this is a gift. Okay.
No.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and impart my judgment. I think that this is a pretty straightforward case, -1 aspect, which I think is Miss Kennedy moving in going to be paying half of it while there are 3 tenants in this apartment, or is she going to be paying a third of it as 1/3 of the 3 tenants living in there? Obviously, that would jump her amount from 444 to 666. I think that would make it different. I think, though, that based on the text messages that were actually supplied by Miss Kennedy, page 3 of the exhibits, that just Miss McCausland says December, it should be 400 a piece again. I think that sort of clarifies that it always was supposed to be 400 a piece. I think that's obviously not encapsulating the 44 additional dollars, but I think that pretty much clarifies that it was supposed to be $444 a person. I think that there obviously was some issues, or were some issues with the calculations, but I think that I have since clarified them when I went over them, and I will go over them once more. In regards to the small claims. So first and foremost, the PUD paid from 10/27/24. Ms. Kennedy, you're requesting $121. I will not be awarding you that full amount. That'll be split into thirds, with you having to pay a third, and then Mr. Solorio and Ms. McCausland paying the other 2/3. So they will owe you $80.67, not $121. In regards to the October rent, you paid the full amount for rent that month of $1,332. You are requesting $919 in rent. I will not be awarding you that amount. I'll be awarding you $888, which is 2/3 of the $1,332, which should have been paid to you from Mr. Solorio and Miss McCausland. The November rent, you paid $800, your portion of which should have been $444. The difference between $800 and $444 is $356, not the $254 you are requesting. As such, I will award you the $356, which is the difference between the rent you paid and the amount you should have owed. December rent in the amount of $389, I will not award you anything in that amount. You had moved out by the 7th. It doesn't seem that there was any request for a portion of that month to be paid. So I will go ahead and decline that amount for you. In regards to the book amount of $331.84, it seems like there is no contention with that value. There was maybe some discussion whether it was a gift or not. It seems at this point everyone's in agreement that it should just be paid back to you. You will be awarded $331.84 for the reimbursement of the college book purchase. Your total should be $1,656.51, not the $2,014.84 you are requesting. In regards to the damages for the apartment, as you, Mr. Solorio, had mentioned, she was not on the lease. That sort of puts you in a bind because first and foremost, because she's not on the lease, she actually didn't even have to pay rent. And she is not held liable for any damages to the apartment. It seemed that she was paying rent, in fact, doing a lot of help on your behalf and covering rent for the both of you when you were struggling financially. And the fact that since September, there was no requests for reimbursement, maybe for a toaster, as Miss McCausland had said, she was complaining a lot. I think she actually, based on the situation, helped out to keep the apartment going in regards to lease for the both of you. I think that if anything, maybe if you had provided the cost for a toaster, I could have reimbursed you for that. But I think that at that point, we're just not even going into trivial amounts like that. So based on that information, I will go ahead and award Miss Kennedy $1,656.51.